Hi everyone, it's time for another episode of Atoms for the Love of Movie Picks. This time around, we're going to be talking about the 2005 film Walk the Line. Basically, the description of it is singer, rebel, outlaw, hero. His driving freight train vocals, steel-eyed intensity, and a voice as dark as the night, the legendary Man in Black revolutionized music and forged his legacy as a genuine American icon. Uh, Golden Globe nominees Joaquin Phoenix and Reese Witherspoon star and sing as Johnny Cash and June Carter in this inspiring true story of one man's unwavering devotion to his sound, his message, and the greatest love of his life. So, as the case states, you got Joaquin Phoenix as Johnny Cash, Reese Witherspoon as June Carter, Jennifer Goodwin as Vivian Cash, Robert Patrick as his father Ray Cash. And just having a look at the list of the actors, it's pretty much the extent of the well-known actors in this particular movie. So just give you a little bit of a summary of some of the things that the movie covers. Basically, Johnny Cash, he was born to poor cotton farmers in Kingsland, Arkansas. Cash rose to fame in the burgeoning rockabilly scene in Memphis, Tennessee after 4 years in the Air Force. More on that in a minute. He traditionally began his concerts by simply introducing himself. Hello, I'm Johnny Cash. Followed by, he had hits as Folsom Prison Blues, Walk the Line, Ring of Fire, Get Rhythm, and of course Man in Black. I recorded numerous number ones like One Piece at a Time, A Boy Named Sue, and then, had some future duets and railroad songs such as Hey Porter, Orange Blossom Special, and Rock Island Line. During the later stages of his life, he recorded some cover songs. The most notable were Hurt by the Nine Inch Nails song, Rusty Cage by Soundgarden, and Personal Jesus by Depeche Mode. Johnny Cash is one of the best-selling music artists of all time, having sold more than 90 million records worldwide. His genre-spanning music embraced country, rock and roll, rockabilly, blues, folk, and gospel sound. This crossover appeal earned him the rare honor of being inducted into the country music, rock and roll, and gospel music Hall of Fames. His music career was dramatized, of course, in the movie that we're going to be talking about. Just one more thing I want to touch on before I really get into talking about the movie was his service in the Air Force. It's an interesting little tidbit that not many people know about Johnny Cash. I mean, some people knew that obviously he wrote most of his songs while he was in the Air Force, but what they don't know, so he enlisted in the Air Force on July 7th, 1950. They're basing training at Lackland Air Force Base and technical training at Brooks Air Force Base, both in San Antonio, Texas. Cash is assigned to the 12th Radio Squadron Mobile of the U.S. Air Force Security Service at Landsberg, West Germany. He worked as a Morse code operator intercepting Soviet Army transmissions. While copying Soviet transmissions, Cash learned of Soviet Premier Joseph Stalin's death. While Landsberg created his first band, the Landsberg Barbarians, on July 3rd, 1954, he was honorably discharged as a staff sergeant and returned to Texas. During his military service, he acquired a distinctive scar on the right side of his jaw as a result of a surgery to remove a cyst. So he actually had a pretty distinguished military career while serving in the Air Force. So yeah, basically the movie starts out like it says about showing him growing up as a poor cotton farmer in Arkansas in the 1930s into the 1940s, then showing him obviously in the Air Force, starting his music career, and eventually getting a record deal with his bandmates, and it basically just shows his life progressing through the career. The highs, the lows, his struggle with the drug addiction and alcohol, and of course his first marriage to his wife Vivian, how that fell apart just because he was constantly cheating on her with other girls during the marriage, and also just his overall neglect of the marriage, more focusing on his career and the drugs and the alcohol than his wife. So eventually, of course, they split, and then of course one of the women he cheated on would end up being the true love of his life, June Carter. who they ended up being married in 1968 until their deaths. Well, her death in 2003, and he followed her 6 months after. So yeah, it just kind of shows his career as it progresses. Different highlights of his career, including the Folsom Prison Blues live album, basically like that he performed at Folsom Prison in the 1960s. One of my favorite lines of the movie takes place just before, as he's trying to get the record company to agree to sponsor the live album at the prison. He basically goes there in one of his trademark all in black suits. And they basically tell him, like, John, you look like you're going to a funeral. Like, what's the matter with you? And he just kind of stone cold just looks up and says, well, maybe I am. I love that line. Like, it's just so typical of Johnny Cash's attitude that he just does not care, does what he wants. Damn the consequences. If you don't like me, that's too bad. This is who I am. Deal with it. And that's part of what made Johnny Cash such a legend. I mean, a lot of his music was way before my time, but I still know of it just because of how famous he is. I grew up, with my parents and my wife's mom. She was a big fan of Johnny Cash music, so I was introduced to it, even though it was way before my time. And it's really great music. It's one of those musics that kind of transcends genres, and is anybody can like it. Obviously, it's not everybody's type of music. Probably newer generations, kids in their 20s and younger, that would not find this music appealing in any sense. But I mean, still, if you're a fan of music in general, and also just a good story, definitely check out Walk the Line. You will not be disappointed. It's a great film. The acting is superb. They really nailed it with Joaquin Phoenix playing Johnny Cash. He's so spot on and scary. Um, and then, of course, Reese Witherspoon is a good honorable mention as June Carter. So, yeah, check out Walk the Line. You will not be disappointed. Obviously, it deals with some drug use and some, adult themes. So, I would say probably, PG-13, maybe 14A rating. So definitely not for a younger audience, but yeah, great watch. Pretty much, I think you can find it anywhere movies are sold. Not sure if it's available on any streaming platforms, but check her out. Not be disappointed. Take care, folks. Have yourselves a good one. We'll see you in the next one.